Hello and welcome to Runneeti, brought to you by Bad Brick 7 and CricTracker. South Africa, the only unbeaten team in the competition so far, would be up against Pakistan, whose qualification chances are hanging by the barest of threads. And this match is scheduled to be held at the Sydney Cricket Ground today. Shortly from now, it will start. And to talk about this game, we've got Corbus Olivier and Wasim Jaffer. Corbus, we aren't really sure which team you're supporting. Can you help us by throwing some light on that topic? And also, South Africa, of course, would want to secure those 2 points and seal qualification for the semi-finals, and also the top position, consolidate its position for that.
Yes, obviously a very exciting morning. I've been up since very early this morning getting ready for the match, and I think I'm giving it away a bit which team I'm supporting today. You know, they call South Africa the Rainbow Nation. If you look at our team, it represents the whole population of South Africa, and I'm wearing my rainbow top today, so very, very much supporting South Africa today, and I think they've got a very good chance today. They very much one of the form teams in the tournament. And also, as you said, because of the rain we've had around various areas of Australia during this World Cup, I don't think South Africa would want to leave anything to chance. You know, they've got sort of what people would call a bit of an easier game, if you can call it that. In this World Cup, there's no easy games, but they would back themselves to beat the Netherlands in the last match, even if they lose today, and still go through to the semi-final. But who knows, for the weather gods has been following South Africa around all the World Cups and around all ICC tournaments. So I think South Africa definitely, it's a must win for them today in a way. They would much rather win the match today and not leave it up to that last game. And today make sure of their place in the semi-final.
Leaving nothing to chance, and that's very important, like you mentioned, कोबस, क्योंकि हमने देखा है साउथ अफ्रीका के केस में जो चांस होता है वसीम, वो उनके फेवर में हमेशा नहीं जाता वर्ल्ड कप्स में। और जब जिम्बाब्वे के खिलाफ चेज में उतरे थे तो ऐसा ही कुछ लग रहा था कि कुछ भी चांस पे नहीं छोड़ेंगे। ऐसे ही कुछ अप्रोच की उम्मीद आज भी।
I think so. I think hopefully the weather remains good because we want to see good cricket because two good teams are playing. Pakistan, obviously, they haven't played their best cricket, but South Africa is in a good form. They were unlucky against Zimbabwe, but they've been jinxed. A few times in the World Cup with the rain and probably Duckworth Lewis, if I remember in 2003 World Cup. So yeah, they would like to put their best foot forward today. Don't leave it till the last game because if they win today, they goes through, and then obviously if India beats Zimbabwe, India goes through. So it's kind of a must-win situation. If you leave it too late, so you don't know. Unfortunately, if it rains around, then it can get a bit tricky. So South Africa would like to continue their good form.
Indeed. Let's have a look at how the two teams have fared against each other. South Africa and Pakistan, they're head to head. Not much to separate the two teams. In total, 21 matches between them, Pakistan winning 11 of them, South Africa winning 10 of them. Now, of course, this is pretty even, but when we go to World Cups and look at those stats, it gets pretty tilted towards Pakistan, overwhelmingly tilted towards Pakistan, rather. The last time these two teams, Cobus, played in a World Cup game, that was way back in 2012. But the last time South Africa won against Pakistan in any World Cup was back in 1999, and things were very different then. Cobus, you were reliving that game. You really enjoyed that game, right?
Yes, I think I'm giving my age away a bit here. We were talking about age earlier on. That was sort of a golden era, I believe, of South African cricket. The Hansie Cronje as captain, Lance Klusener, Jonty Rhodes, Darryl Cullinan, Gary Kirsten, Pollock. They all played in that game. Sean Pollock, Elworthy played. So I looked at the statistics of that match, and a lot of similarities for me between that match and, although it was a different format, but South Africa played with six seamers. They didn't have a spinner. So they had six seamers, and Pakistan It Wasam Akram and Shoaib Akhtar opening the bowling. So it was really a lot about pace. And I think today it's very similar. Pakistan has got a really, really good pace attack, and South Africa, obviously, we all know, we've all been talking about during this World Cup about the South African pace attack. So that's a similarity to that. And also, one thing I would like to point out is in that match, Lance Klusner, the big hitting left hander, I think everyone's familiar with Lance. He took them over the winning post that day. He scored a 46 not out. And again, you've got David Miller today, batting in the similar position, and also a big left-hander stroke player in the Lance Klusner mode. So I think a lot of similarities to that. And South Africa hasn't changed their game plan much over the years.
Kobus, we hope as a 5-year-old you really enjoyed that game. वसीम वापस आते हैं और पाकिस्तान के चांसेस और साउथ अफ्रीका दोनों के चांसेस को अगर यहाँ पे वे करें तो एक चीज तो यहाँ पे साफ है कि पेस अटैक, दो हाई क्वालिटी पेस अटैक आमने सामने होगा एसजीजी के मैदान पर। वसीम।
Absolutely. I mean, South Africa, ke fast bowlers, their fast bowling is their trump card. Even though, Keshav Maharaj is bowling really well. I don't know if they'll go with Shamsi today because they're playing at SCG. So you might, see little assistance to the spin. So they might go with Tabrez Shamsi, but, you are in a spot who you want to leave out because you've got Rabada, you've got Henrik Nokia. When Parnell is an all-rounder, so obviously he stays there, but Lungi Ngidi has taken wickets. So you might have to, drop a guy who has taken 4 wickets. So that's a tricky one. But I feel, both teams have, I mean, not so much South Africa, but Pakistan, they would like to, bat well. That's where their problem lies. They rely too heavily on Rizwan and Babar, and they haven't, done so much in this tournament. So they would like because I think this SCG pitch, will help. I think it will be good batting conditions for them. So if they give them a good start, then you might see them bat well. But I think Babar and Rizwan hold a lot of importance. Fakhar Zaman has been ruled out. He's a very handy left-hander, but he's unfortunately injured now. And their middle order we keep talking about is very inexperienced. Iftikhar has played well. Shan Masood has been looking good. So that's the only bright spot. But again, both teams, will be relying heavily on their bowling attack, especially their fast bowling. So it's going to be a cracking game. South Africa hasn't beaten Pakistan for a long, long time, like you have mentioned. So they would like to turn it around today.
And another individual who'd be desperate to turn around, albeit his form, is Temba Babuma. He's been struggling Cobus for quite some time now. And then there is Risa Hendricks breathing right down his neck.
Yes, I'm afraid Temba Bavuma is probably one of the players in this World Cup at the moment with the most pressure on him. His last 8 scores in 2020 cricket has been 8 not out, 0, 0, 3, 2 not out, 2 and 10. So he only got double figures once in his last innings. He got 10. So he's under immense pressure. I personally don't think South Africa is going to uh, change the team, their leadership. He brings a lot to the team in terms of leadership. They're really at the business end of this World Cup, and to drop your captain at this stage, I think could really disrupt the team. He's obviously got the backing of the management team, Boucher and the senior players. They all backing him, and he is a very, very strong individual. He's been through a lot lately. He's been injured for a while. He came back, so he's mentally very strong. And I believe they're not going to change at this late stage. They're going to persist with Bavuma, and let's hope. I think also what Wazim mentioned is this wicket today will suit. It's going to be a fast wicket. I think it will suit his kind of play. He likes to play it around, use the pace of the ball, take quick singles, give the strike. And I think as long as he can bat at a runner ball and just not eat up balls where they string together dot balls to him, and you take bowling away from balls away from Rousseau and de Kock, he can do a really useful job. So I expect to see him today leading South Africa from the front.
इस बीच एक महत्वपूर्ण अपडेट, पाकिस्तान ने टॉस जीता है, पहले बल्लेबाजी करने का निर्णय लिया है और इसमें कोई हैरत की बात नहीं है क्योंकि एससीजी पे जो अभी तक 4 मुकाबले इस विश्व कप में हुए हैं, 4 के 4 पहले बल्लेबाजी करते हुए टीम ने जीते, हालांकि वो डे नाइट मुकाबले थे। वसीम, वापस बवूमा के टॉपिक पर आऊंगी। अभी तक का जो उनका प्रदर्शन रहा है, लगातार आलोचकों के सवाल उठ रहे हैं। ऐसी स्थिति में जब आप कप्तान होते हैं, प्रेशर और भी बढ़ जाता है। क्या कप्तानी में जो आप निर्णय लेते हैं, उसको ये बात इफेक्ट करती है कि फॉर्म खराब चल रहा है? वसीम।
Well, I hope, आपको affect नहीं करे. Without a doubt, he'll be under tremendous pressure because uh, he's obviously a captain, so he needs to be leading from the front, like Kobus have mentioned. He's been the weak spot. If you talk about the batting point of view, if I would like to believe that if he's not a captain of South Africa, he won't fit into the side because there's Riza Hendrik sitting outside, the man in form. So he's obviously playing because he's a captain, but he need to come good. It's about time. I heard that Miller is not playing because of the back injury. I think so. That's one man in form batter is out. So that is going to be a huge blow for South Africa. And it's a used pitch. So I think, it will favor Pakistan a little bit. And I think it's a good call to bat first, put scores on the board. Their batting has been under pressure. So you want to bat when there's not much pressure and then put scores on the board and hopefully defend it. But yeah, I mean, Baguma definitely will be under pressure. But I don't think so that, when you take a field, you worry about, what the scores you have made. When you lead the team. You don't bring your batting onto the field. It's when he's batting, he doesn't need to worry about that he's a captain. He needs to at least go run a ball 25 or 30, spend some time, keep wickets in hand. Obviously, they are going to chase, so you don't want to bring your middle order too early. So that's the challenge, and it's a must-win game. So he needs to come good today.
And talking about pressure, Shaheen Shah Afridi would certainly find himself under pressure, considering that he went wicketless for the first two games. In the previous game, he did get a wicket with the new ball, but overall, the expectations of Shaheen Shah Afridi are very high, considering what he has done for Pakistan in the past overs.
Yes, I mean, he's a class player. He's proved himself over and over again. And I also believe, when you look at a bowler like him, teams in T20 especially, because there's only 20 overs, they target bowlers that they're going after. And you often find, I mean, no team is going to target him. He's too good a bowler. So they target some of the other bowlers probably that they feel they've got more chance to score runs off. And then often Afridi won't be taking the wickets, but he takes wickets for the other bowlers, if I can put it that way, because they're not going to take too many risks against him, and then they play the big shots against the other bowler, and they take the wicket. So I think he still plays an incredibly important role. He's the spearhead of this bowling attack, and teams are aware of it. When you go and bat and you're up against Afridi, they that pace he's got, the bounce, the swing. I mean, he's a classical fast bowler. Uh, I think teams really, they very psychologically, the batsmen are aware that he could get them out, and they don't take that many risks. So it's not always, you don't always look at how many wickets he's taking. You look at his role and in the team, within the team. So I think very important to look at that.
शहीन ने एक दिलचस्प बात बोली थी वसीम प्रेस
Well, I
कॉन्फ्रेंस
feel I
में कि
feel Mega. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll have a different perspective, Mega. I think Shaheen Shah Afridi to me, he doesn't look he's match ready yet. I mean, even though he's played 3 games, I think they've rushed him, and played him. I don't think we have seen that kind of a pace that we relate to Shaheen Shah Afridi. He's bowling mid 30s at best, and obviously, probably he's come out of a surgery. So I don't think he's at his best. So I think that probably Pakistan missing a trick by playing him just for the sake that he's Shaheen Shah Afridi. You have got Hasnain who bowls at 145, 150 clicks. So I wonder if going with him would have been a better option because we've seen him in 3 games. He's only got one wicket. He's been wicketless. He's been expensive. And probably, I think I have got a different perspective that South Africa might target him because, his body probably is not ready. And when somebody is just coming off after a long layoff, teams understand that, he's not at his best. So yeah, Pakistan, in my opinion, I feel missing a trick by just playing him because it's Shaheen Shah Afridi, but you've got a fitter and probably somebody who's willing to give 100%. He's sitting outside.
Wasim, we knew you could read into a crystal ball. We didn't know that you could read brains as well, because that's what my question was about Shaheen Shafii and whether he's 100% fit. Because even in the press conference, he mentioned that I am working towards being 100%. The team doctor kind of tried to differentiate between medical fitness and match fitness. So these conversations are anyway happening. I mean, how does it work in case of teams? In case of top players, do you try and rush them in big tournaments? Is this the right way to go about things, Wasim? Because it
Well,
happened in case
India
of
made that
Pakistan.
mistake, didn't we? I
Yeah.
mean, India did the same thing with Jasprit Bumrah. They rushed him into that T20s against Australia and probably South Africa, and ended up being injured for the most important tournament, T20 World Cup, with which Chetan Sharma, the chief selector, admitted it that on the hindsight they have rushed him. They should have taken a bit more time, and I feel Pakistan's probably doing the same because it's Shaheen Shah Afridi. They wanted him. Uh, but when he's not bowling at his best, when he's not, I mean, when he bowls with the new ball, he clicks 145. He bowls that full fast, deliveries, right at the stump, which we haven't seen. And teams pick on that. They watch the games and they understand that he's not match ready yet. He's not at his best. So I feel that he's been rushed, and Pakistan obviously wanted him because he brings that different angle, being a left-hander. But I just feel that he's not 100% here.
Hmm. Now moving on to the playing 11 that both the teams have decided to field for this game, Pakistan and South Africa. Now Pakistan, of course, there's one change, and that's injury enforced change. Another player rather, who probably was rushed, and that's Fakhr Zaman. That's something that the team doctor conceded as well. He's injured, and so from the reserve, they've taken Mohammad Haris. And talking about the 11 now, Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam, Mohammad Haris, Shan Masood, Iftikhar Ahmed, Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz, Wasim, Shaheen Afridi, Haris Rauf, and Naseem Shah. For South Africa, it's Quinton de Kock, Temba Bavuma, Riley Rosu, Aiden Markram, Henrik Klassen, Tristan Stubbs, Wayne Parnell, Kagiso Rabada, Lungi Ngidi, and Rick Norkia, although Shamsi finds his place back. We've been discussing about that, whether Shamsi would be able to find his place in the 11 or not. There's one thing that Pakistani batsmen, of course, play spinners well, but considering the limited opportunities that Shamsi has got, the way he's performed, a merit selection, of course, merit selection, Kobus.
Yeah, I think they obviously look at the conditions first of all. Shamsi on that wicket, you would expect the leg spinner to get some bite, turn, and bounce. And I also looked at the Pakistani batting lineup. As far as I can see, they've only got the one left-hander,
Yeah.
Shan Masood, in their top six. Just, I could be wrong there, but that's what I saw this morning before I knew the actual team that was selected today. So I think with the leg spinner taking the ball away from the right-handers, he's a wicket taker. He's a proven wicket taker. He goes for a few runs. He's quite expensive, as most leg spinners are, but he's a wicket taker. And I think they went all out attack today. So I'm not too surprised by that change. The one big force change today, again, we've been talking about this all morning about injuries.
Yeah.
With Miller out, that's a huge loss to South Africa. As we all know, I don't have to go into that. But I must say that Heinrich Klaassen uh, he's a devastating batsman. He comes in at number 5. He takes Miller's spot, and Klaassen can also he can take the game away from the opposition. So it's going to be interesting to see how Klaassen does today if he takes the opportunity.
Oh, we've discussed so much about injuries to all the
Yeah.
players involved, even the ones who are fit right now, but the injury that they suffered in the past. So On that note, let's kind of move on to a more fun segment, that's social tracker, and let's see what the buzz around this match was. सो क्या चर्चा चल रही है इस मुकाबले से पहले? 5 टाइम्स T20 वर्ल्ड कप विनर, 2 टाइम्स ODI वर्ल्ड कप विनर, बधाई देते हैं हम जन्मदिन की एलिस पेरी को, एंड ऑफ कोर्स क्रिक ट्रैकर की पूरी टीम उनके खेल को बहुत एंजॉय करती है और सराहना करती है, और आज उनके बर्थडे पे उन्हें विश कर रही है। और इसके अलावा जो बातें चल रही हैं सोशल मीडिया पर इस मुकाबले से रिलेटेड, हर्षा भोगले, इनफैक्ट इस मुकाबले से नहीं, इससे पहले जो मुकाबला हुआ था, कल जो मुकाबला हुआ था, हर्षा भोगले ने कहा, on the fake fielding incident, the truth is that nobody saw it. The umpires didn't, the batters didn't, and we didn't either. Law 41.5 does not make provision for penalizing fake fielding. The umpire still has to interpret it thus, but no one saw it. So, what do you think so? What do you do? ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है वसीम, बिकॉज इसके अराउंड लगातार चर्चा चल रही है। फेक फील्डिंग वाली बात अंपायर्स के इंटरप्रिटेशन पे बेस होता है, उस टाइम इस चीज को पकड़ना होता है। और ऑफ कोर्स विराट कोहली को अक्यूज किया गया है बांग्लादेश की तरफ से कि फेक फील्डिंग उन्होंने की। अगर फेक फील्डिंग एस्टैब्लिश होती तो 5 रन की पेनल्टी लगती, बॉल को डेड बॉल भी डिक्लेयर कर दिया जाता। ऐसी स्थिति में आप क्या यहाँ पे टिप्पणी करना चाहेंगे वसीम?
Well, I think Meghna, मेरे ख्याल से even if the umpires didn't saw, there is enough cameras to have the evidence first of all. So you've got third umpire, you've got so many cameras to spot it. But I think when you do it for the first time, as far as I know, you get the warning. You don't get penalized straight away. So I don't think Virat Kohli did that second time. It was the first time. So that would have probably caused a warning to the captain and Virat Kohli. If they did it at the second time, then I think you get penalized. So I think as far as I know, in the first attempt, he would have been warned. So there's no chance that South Bangladesh probably would have been penalized or given 5 runs. I don't think it was a second offense. So as far as the law is concerned, I don't think that penalty would have gone straight away.
Kobus, these subcontinent rivalries are so intense, are so heated. Somehow, whenever you see these matches happening, they don't get over after the final ball is bowled. Even after that, there are wars happening on social media amongst the fans of both these teams.
Yes, I know, having spent a lot of time in the UK, they always talk up the Ashes as the big one in cricket. But the Ashes, unfortunately, I believe, cannot rival a Pakistan India match. It's just, I've never experienced anything like it. I was fortunate enough one year to be in India. I was in Chennai when there was a match, I think it was in the Asia Cup. India played Pakistan, and uh, the whole Chennai just came to a standstill. Everybody was just watching cricket, and leading up to the match, everybody was talking about the match. So it's really unique. In England, it wasn't anything like that. I would be in a taxi, and I start talking about the Ashes Australia England game, and the taxi driver wouldn't even. He's talking about Liverpool playing Manchester. So I think in a Pakistan India rivalry is just something unique, and it adds so much to cricket. It really gives something to the game, something unique to the game.
And Cobus, probably that's the reason, because the rivalries are so intense that these matters get discussed so much after the game is over. Where do you stand on the interpretation of law regarding this fake fielding incident and what happened in the game?
I must be honest, I don't know if you're all aware of the fact that I'm watching the cricket from Zagreb. I had to flee Ukraine. I'm watching it in Zagreb in Croatia, and it's very challenging to find somewhere where I can watch cricket. There's hardly any cricket in Croatia. So I didn't see this incident. I follow a lot of the cricket on sort of following commentary where they write in writing a ball for ball commentary, but I haven't seen much of the cricket. I only managed to get something installed on my computer 2 days ago. So today I'll be watching the match live, but I never saw this incident. I only heard about it afterwards. So I can't really say too much about it because I didn't see it.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, that's your devotion, reading the commentary, still remaining involved with the game. इसके अलावा रघु, respect and that alliteration there, because जो भारत के थ्रो डाउन स्पेशलिस्ट हैं रघु, वो लगातार दौड़ रहे थे अपने हाथ में एक ब्रश लेके, ताकि भारतीय टीम के प्लेयर्स के जूते साफ कर सके, ताकि स्लिप ना हो, क्योंकि रिमाइंड यू वेट आउटफील्ड था, बारिश के बाद मैच जब रिज्यूम हुआ तो चांसेस हाई होते हैं कि पैर फिसल जाए, ऐसा ना हो इसके लिए रघु लगातार लगे हुए थे, और ये निष्ठा है टीम के लिए उनकी, जिसकी सराहना कर रहा है सोशल मीडिया। इसके अलावा जो बातें चल रही थी वर्ल्ड कप के अराउंड, विश्व कप के अराउंड, उस पर भी हम नजर डालेंगे। ट्रिक ट्रैकर कहता है द न्यू नंबर वन T20I बैटर इन द लेटेस्ट ICC T20I बैटर्स रैंकिंग, और नंबर पर है सूर्य कुमार यादव 863 पॉइंट्स के साथ। मोहम्मद रिजवान आसपास ही रहते हैं, तो नंबर 2 पे अभी भी है डेवॉन कॉनवे, नंबर 3 पर मौजूद है। सूर्य कुमार यादव हमने देखा है कैसे धुआंधार फॉर्म में है इस साल, लगातार टीम के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट आतिशी पारियां खेलते हुए नजर आए हैं। इसके अलावा यहाँ पे है डू द बेस्ट दैट यू कैन, control the things that you have control over. A big game for us today against the only unbeaten team of the tournament, and that's South Africa. Play well and fight hard. I'm sure Allah will grant us success, inshallah. Of course, Pakistani fans constantly playing, of course, praying for their team, that their team does well. Now, moving on to the contest that we are running on CricTracker with Bad Break 7. मौका है आपके पास भी एक्साइटिंग हैम्पर्स जीतने का। पहला स्टेप है प्रिडिक्ट कीजिए टॉप स्कोरर पाकिस्तान और साउथ अफ्रीका के इस मुकाबले में, और दूसरा स्टेप ये है कि आपको हैशटैग बैट ब्रिक्स का इस्तेमाल करना है। वक्त आपके पास अभी 9 मिनट का है, तो प्रिडिक्ट कीजिए कि कौन आपको लगता है सर्वश्रेष्ठ बल्लेबाज होगा इस मुकाबले में। हमारे एक्सपर्ट जरूर आपकी मदद करेंगे। तो पहले वसीम के पास आती है। वसीम, हु डू यू थिंक वुड बी द टॉप स्कोरर फॉर दिस गेम?
I think from Pakistan, I would say Rizwan, and from South Africa, I'm gonna go with Riley Russo.
Hmm. Interesting. In fact, Wasim, do you always carry that crystal ball because it's made of crystal, must be fragile, and you're traveling so much? We'd get response to that. But Kobus, which player are you backing to score the most in this game?
I think you mentioned in an earlier show that Wasim seemed to, all the experts always agree with him. And I'm going to agree 50-50 with him today. I also have a feeling Rizwan could get Pakistan off to a flyer. So I go for Rizwan. And then on the South African side, I'm going to go for De Kock today and not for Riley Russo. So 50-50 with Wasim today. I'm taking a huge risk.
Interestingly, and I did observe that on Shaheen Afridi's fitness, the two of you didn't agree. And that was very refreshing because you're always in harmony. Now, on that note, moving on to the poll that we are running on Crick Tracker and the predictions that we've been inviting from you. So, who will back two crucial points? That's who will win this game. Pakistan 42%, South Africa 58%. South Africa have rich run of form accompanying them in this World Cup. Pakistan, on the other hand, of course, would be desperate for 2 points, and that really sets it up nicely for this clash. We had Wasim and Kobus to impart their insights with us, share their insights with us for this game. We'd be back again post game to discuss how the game shaped up. Until then, it's goodbye and take care. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.